It is another Monday, which means it's time to catch up with Tyvis Powell and break down everything from that Minnesota win. And Ohio State is good.
Yes.
And I think that's all we need to say.
Yeah.
Tyvis, I'll start with this. And this is where I've been left with the state of college football. I think Ohio State is at just a different level at this point. Do you agree? I mean, when you look around the preseason, I think top six, they're the only ones that are still undefeated. You have Miami, you have Oregon, but at this rate, I just don't know if there is another team on Ohio State's schedule that is going to be able to compete with them down in and down out.
Well, certainly the way that this past weekend has shaken out, it does look like Ohio State's strength of schedule is starting to lose some juice with losses with Texas and Penn State losing.
What happened with Penn State?
They're not even ranked anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, so
they gave up 42 points.
Yeah, it's shocker. It's very shocking. Even I was shocked by seeing that. But
and Tyvis is never shocked.
True. But when you look at just the around college football, you can't not say like, oh, this team would probably compete with Ohio State. But then you got to think like, all right, Oregon. Let's say Oregon is a really good team right now, right? Offense looks great. Would our defense shut down Oregon? I do believe so. Can their defense stop Ohio State? I don't think so. So, like, I have that argument with a lot of, like, people were talking about Miami. I seen a tweet that Miami is the best team in college and it's not even close. And I'm watching it and I'm like, they were dominant, but then Florida State started to come back, and I'm like, Ohio State doesn't do this. So it's hard for me to look around the country and say that a team is playing better both sides of the ball. And it was nice to see them actually do some things on special teams. The throwback to Lorenzo style. I said, now we got the special teams going? Oh, we're unstoppable.
That was great.
Crown them. You want to crown them? Crown them.
There it is. I love the energy. Okay, so if you're going to crown them, you got to crown them in part because of their defense.
Yes.
It is 25 points through 5 games. It's unbelievable. It's silly. It has gotten silly. I mean, you got PJ Fleck saying it's the best defense he's seen in 13 years.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong. Washington's coach said the same thing. Sark said the same. I mean, we can watch day in and day out, and we can take notes. And I think I've mentioned this 55 times. The Jermaine Matthews play where Jermaine blitzes, and then the quarterback, you instinctually throw right there to the guy that's open, and then he just gets swallowed up by 5 Buckeyes. Can you take us through the evolution of this defense in 5 games? Because I remember standing here with you week 1, and we were talking about, all the different things that Matt Patricia is throwing and working.
Yes.
It now just feels so fluid and all just simultaneous.
It's just what's so crazy about it is like he's teaching them NFL stuff. They're literally running different schemes. Like, you know how long it takes to learn one scheme? It took me like a whole year. The fact that they are running multiple different schemes every game is beyond me. Like, when they go to the NFL, it will be nothing for them to pick up a defense because they've probably already played it over one course of one game. So offenses are so confused because it's like, okay, they show this on tape. Like, okay, for example, for us, we were an over 4 team, right? We had 4 down linemen in the over front. That was it. Like, you had to beat the over front. With Ohio State, there's so many different fronts that they run that you don't know. You have to plan for everything. And what's happening is so much information that it's an overload. When teams get in there, it's like, are they in this front, that front? Okay, well, all right, they're in that front, so we're supposed to play this. But then they're switching to that. So it's like a ton of confusion that's going on over the course of a game. Matt Patricia is just playing chess with everybody, and they cannot figure it out. Don't get me wrong, Minnesota's opening drive was good. They made some plays, hit the seam route again, which I was mad about that, but that was it. They had that one drive, and that was it.
Which, if you watched last week, you'll know the seam route is the best way to beat
Cover 3, yes.
It's the best
if you run on one high, that seam route is the one.
That's going to kill you.
Yes.
And that's what OU did on that play that got them their 1 touchdown. You know what's wild is that I can stand here. We're 6 weeks with the bye week, and I can still talk to you about the 2 touchdouns for the whole season.
That's it.
That's insane.
We had 1 in Texas and 1 in OU.
And that Texas throw was actually one of Arch's best of the year. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been all downhill.
Yeah, that was his.
Well, he had the
Sam Houston State where he looked over the guy. Yeah, he told him. He said, "We beat you 50 points." With this defense, how worried are you about, we don't know what's going on with Kenyatta Jackson.
Yes.
They took his helmet away.
Yeah.
How worried are you about the depth of this defensive line? Because, yet again, the pressure that they're getting. I mean, Caden Curry is no longer.
He on a tear.
It's unreal.
He's
dropping back in screens and taking guys. He's figuring out plays mid-play.
You know what's crazy? So what Caden Curry is doing reminds me of what the wide receiver room is like. What I mean by that is this. When Jack Sawyer left, I was like, I don't know about these other guys. Like, Jack Sawyer was on. From his team up north game to that run in the CFP, he put some games together. And I was like, we're going to really miss that production. And I don't know about these other guys or where that production is going to come from. Similar to like when Chris Olave and Garrett left. I was like, that's like two of the best wide receivers I've ever seen. Then Marv came. Then Jackson Smith and Jigma came. And then when Marv left, I said, oh, it's done. And then JJ came. So it's one of those situations with Caden Curry where it's like, I was so worried about how we're going to get that production, and Caden Curry is coming in there and actually doing better, a little bit better than what Jack Sawyer was doing at this time. So it's amazing what this defensive line is doing. Now, granted, you see Kenyatta Jackson go down, and it's very alarming, but you brought Bo Atkinson in for a reason.
Yeah.
It's time for that guy to make some plays, and we got other guys that's in the rotation. That defensive line, like what they're doing and having all of these different guys. Zion Grady got in the game and made a play. Like
he's a name that is going to be a player
so like
for this
what
team.
it's doing is so many different guys. You got to give credit to Coach Johnson, what he's doing with that defensive line. It's so many different people that's coming into that game, and they're not missing a beat. It's still production happening, and what it's doing is taking blows off the body. So now we're fresh when we go to make that CFP run. Our bodies is actually more fresh. So I'm not concerned. I hope that Kenyatta Jackson is fine and he gets back at a timely manner. But I believe that we have other guys that can hold the fort down while he's gone.
I just want to say, and I know you didn't do this on purpose, you did leave out one wide receiver who had 100 and some odd yards. You left off two.
Sorry.
Emeka Egbuka. And Carnell Tate, who just had that's how dominant the receiver room is. We'll get to Carnell in a minute. But that's what I was thinking is I'm like, oh my gosh, there's just too many to name. I want to ask you about Bo Atkinson because we can talk about grabbing someone from the portal and plugging them in.
Yeah.
But some positions, it's easier than others. I mean, a wide receiver is a wide receiver at any school. A running back's a running back in theory at any school.
Yeah.
Even a quarterback, he's doing the same things at any school, it's just a different playbook. For Bo Atkinson, do you think it's about him settling into what this defense looks like and understanding it more and finding his role with the Buckeyes? And do you think that role is now going to really expand?
I definitely think that role is going to expand. I think that you coming from North Carolina and then coming to Ohio State, when you get a guy like Bo, you thought that he's probably going to be the starter. Well, he's become a rotational piece. And a lot of times that have to do with certain schemes. Certain players are good in certain schemes. I'm not familiar with what they were running in North Carolina, but I guarantee you it's probably not what we were running at Ohio State. Because at Ohio State, I just told you, we're running like 10 different schemes. So that's a lot to try to pick up in one off season. And I think for him, what they have to do is maybe they have to tailor some things to like, all right, Bo knows this. This is where he thrives at in this scheme, so we're going to run this more often. But he also has to take time to learn different spots and different things and different schemes because that's what Matt Patricia requires out of his defense. I think he'll be fine. I just think that he has to get his chemistry down, understand, like, all right, this is the defensive tackles that I'm working with. We work well doing twists or we do stunts, whatever it is. They have to figure that chemistry out. And once that happens, I think magic will happen.
All right. I want to ask you about something Ryan Day said post-game because I think it is the difference in this Ohio State era. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Is it about the fact that they're winning games, but there's still things they got to clean up and it's hard to coach? Go ahead.
So you nailed it. I saw your smile. I knew you knew where I was going here.
I pay attention.
I thought that was the difference in this era of Ohio State. And I'm not discounting any of the past wins because the Buckeye football program has been dominant for decades. I mean, you got a national championship ring to prove it it's been 11 years now, Tyvis. That's a long time. You're getting old. I just loved that Ryan Day said, we need to make adjustments even when we win, not just off of the loss.
Yes.
How often, and I'm not discounting the Urban era because Urban was as intense as any coach, but were there times when you would walk away from a game and you would feel like, for instance, 42-3, and you're like, hey, we just dominated those guys. Let's throw that film. Let's move on to the next one. And how important is it and how detrimental is it to do that versus how beneficial is it to have a coach that's going to walk in there on a Monday morning and say, well, you've earned nothing?
Yeah. No, I think that is what a great coach does, is keep guys grounded. Because when you win like that and you're winning in the fashion that you're winning in, everybody in the world is going to pat you on the back and tell you you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And what happens is it can go to a player's head. Like, you can't, did you see my game? I had like 10 tackles, 2 sacks, all of those things. And it's hard to try to coach players through that. But the ones that want to be great, and if you want to get to where you're trying to get, and that's ultimately winning a championship, you have to be so nitpicky. And that's what I did after the Texas game. When I watched the Texas game, they won, the defense won, but it was still things that you got to clean up. And I think great coaches do a great job of pointing those things out. So going into games, it's like, you made this play, but let me tell you how you could be better, because what's going to happen is if you don't clean this up, if you don't take that extra step, somebody's going to see this and think that they can get this off. And a better back or a better team will make this play. It will come back up. So I love the fact that Ryan Day they're winning games in a dominant fashion, but he's not satisfied. And it makes that team be hungry. That's why you hear them saying, we haven't earned anything. That was last year's team that won it all. I love the fact that they're still hungry. They're still willing to learn. They still want to get better because they're chasing greatness. They're chasing something that hasn't been done, I don't think, in the history of Ohio State. Winning back-to-back championships, that's something that's never been done here. And you're depending on a lot of young guys to take that step. So I love the fact that he's doing this. And this team is going to be a much better team towards the end of the year because of that. There are so many things, little things. I'm talking as small as I took the wrong step. That's how picky you have to be, because you're chasing perfection. And right now they're on the road to do that.
Look how fired up they were on the James Peoples play where Peoples went the wrong way. I mean, goodness gracious, they were up 35-3 in the moment.
But no,
And Ryan Day is criticizing Bo Jackson reaching the ball out over the goal line again, saying if that happens.
Think about it. If he does that in a critical moment in a big game, a good DB or a good line is going to punch it right out, and that's the ball
and you're
game.
Done. You're done. We were in unison there.
You like that? Yeah, look at you, man.
Yeah, hey. All right, last thing, and I'll get you out of here, Tyvis. Illinois. I picked them to be my number 3 in the Big Ten.
Oh, you was wrong.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Luke Altmaier's good, though. I call him Luke Control-Alt-Delete.
Okay, Control-Alt-Delete. I like that.
You like that?
Does he know you call him that?
No, but
you got to tell him. That's a good nickname. All right, take us through the Illini. What most worries you for the Buckeyes? What they need to focus in on this week?
So we talk about how Ohio State's defense run different schemes and all those things. Well, Luke has played a ton of football. So it's not going to be a lot that should confuse him. He should be able to dissect those things. Now, the problem with Illinois is I don't know how good their playmakers is on the outside. I know the running back Fagan is pretty big. He's a short yardage guy. He'll try to run through people and things like that. I think he had 2 touchdowns last game. But as far as on the outside, I don't think they have what it takes to beat us. Luke Altmaier does a great job of taking care of the football. He knows where to go with the football, and he doesn't really throw interceptions. So those are things that's going to be challenging. How he will operate under duress will be a different story. We have to get after this guy, because if you let him sit back there and figure out what's going on, he will pick you apart. He had a really strong performance against Purdue this last week. I was actually there.
All right. Well, there you have it. He is Tyvis Powell. Great breakdown. We'll see you back here next Monday talking about Ohio State getting all set for that trip out to Madison and jumping around. You played in Madison.
I did.
It's crazy.
The jump around is only fun if you're winning.
There you go.
Which I was.
We're going to talk about that next week. Also, Tyvis and I, the Coaches Show, Game Time with Ryan Day, every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. on 10 TV. Make sure you tune in. Keep it on 10 TV, 10 TV Plus at 97.1 The Fan for all your Buckeye coverage.